All right, so this is the fourth video in this series of describing this map of vibrational levels that I've created. Before getting into level three, I just wanted to briefly explain the framework for anyone who's new to the videos. I created this vibrational level map to describe the direction the spiritual journey actually takes based on what I experienced across multiple personal sense of the rungs. So when I say vibrational level, what I mean is a phase of consciousness that determines how much power a person can safely access. The phase operating within an experience depends upon how you interpret reality, where you locate authority, and how much influence you can safely wield. Each level produces a recognition that creates the movement into the next level. And people can operate at different levels in different areas of their lives. So they're not just like a direct one-to-one thing. The levels can sort of bleed into each other. Um, I use song lyrics to help explain the levels because they often capture the problems and internal experience of a level pretty precisely. At the higher levels, songs can express uh, realizations with like remarkable directness. At the lower ones, they're more general, but they still do a good job of explaining it. So this video covers level three. For the complete explanation of the map and why it contains 13 levels, check out the introductory video that I made, the first one in this series. So this is level three. Level three is an odd number, and odd numbers levels are experiential. So level two gave you recognition. Level three is where that recognition can produce level three is where movement past the prior recognition occurs. So the two songs I chose are first is NEFFEX's Hope for the beginning stages of level three, and Eminem's Lose Yourself for its later stages. So in level three, you decide to force your way out of your powerlessness through action. And everything in these first six is all about overcoming this complete powerlessness of level one. So in level three, you try to become stronger, better, more disciplined, more successful, more accomplished, or more worthy. Uh, Without completely resolving those levels, um, we can often think that everything will be fine once we just get this promotion or some partner or just something that we're waiting to accomplish in life that will make the pain from the powerlessness irrelevant. The underlying assumption is that your present self lacks something that a future version of you will possess. And this is where the idea of Camus' myth of Sisyphus becomes relevant. So in Camus' myth, Sisyphus is condemned to push a rock up a hill, only for it to roll back down each time he gets to the top. Then, with nothing else to do but roll the rock back up the hill again. So level three follows a similar structure. Whenever completion is assigned to becoming, you work towards the point where you expect to feel successful, secure, or worthy, but the standard moves as you approach it. So when you achieve something that may be real, but once you finally reach it, you'll eventually find that another condition just takes its place. So in Hope, NEFFEX encourages the listener to become their way out of the hole NF described that he was trapped in the explanation in level two. So these lyrics are pretty self-explanatory. They just go, keep striving, keep trying. Nothing's in your way but yourself. Don't need nobody's help. You can make it through this hell. Take it one step at a time. One step as you climb. If you fail, you'll be fine. Get back up to the grind and never lose sight of your mission. I mean, I think that's generally pretty good advice. Um, but you'll see the limitations of it as I move forward. So these lyrics, they don't really require an explanation or a breakdown. These lines explain the basic premise of level three. The level one experience of yourself is nothing, and the level two recognition that you want to move past it to make your life better. They're both still present, but here we imagine that we can become something, and then rely on that hope to make the distance between those conditions seem crossable. So this is a genuine improvement over level two. That's why I said it's generally good advice because hope tries to help you restore agency. So instead of remaining inside the pain you've recognized, you begin organizing your life around changing it. The pain now gives you a reason to move, but the original judgment remains intact. You still accept yourself as nothing, and becoming something later is the presumed answer to that problem. Your worth is placed at the end of a process and made conditional upon reaching it. That's why I equate it to Sisyphus. When exerting all the effort to roll the rock up the hill, there's no time to think about the pain. All there is to think about is getting to the top. And this literally applies to any endeavor where the purpose of the endeavor is to fill a personal void. As long as effort's being used to resolve a belief in your present inadequacy, the pain is easier to ignore because you just presume with enough effort, there's some point in the future that becoming what you want to be will make you feel whole. So then I found this lyric section from Eminem's Lose Yourself that goes, Souls escaping through this hole that is gaping. This world's mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life's boring, but superstardom's close to post-mortem. It only grows harder. All right, so my interpretation of that is, uh, in fact, that first line, it might be a quadruple entendre, but we're just going to stick to the one interpretation that makes sense for my purposes here. The gaping hole is the same original sufficiency from level one, that inner absence that made becoming feel necessary. So in level three, Eminem converts that pain into art using rap both to express what was trapped inside him and escape the circumstances associated with it. But his soul is still escaping even after he has come as far as he has. His success has changed his circumstances without filling the hole that drove him towards success. Art, art has turned into both the expression of his soul and the channel through which he continues fleeing the original wound. The line therefore captures the central level three problem. Becoming can carry you remarkably far while leaving intact the insufficiency that made you believe you needed to become something else in the first place. So he began at the bottom of this service to self pyramid, just like the rest of us, where he experienced poverty, obscurity, and powerlessness. Why he experienced those things were the initial thing that drove him, and then his idea that becoming king is what he thought could resolve it. And he says, "This world's mine for the taking," and that expresses the return of agency. But his agency in this case, it's only understood through conquest. When he says, "Make me king," that enlarges the goal from escaping his circumstances to establishing himself as above everyone else. The New World Order is the hierarchy reorganized around his ascendance. He's no longer accepting the initial powerlessness, and he intends to reverse it completely. This advances the previous idea. The gaping hole explains why he began climbing, while kingship is the identity he believes will finally fill it. The final lines reveal that he can already see the cost of the identity he's pursuing. A normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to post-mortem, it only grows harder. So the materialism climb cannot just end once his original circumstances improve. Escaping poverty is it's no longer enough. His sense of meaning has nowhere else to attach to other than exceptional achievement. So an ordinary life at that point feels intolerable, even though ordinary stability may have been what he originally lacked. This idea of superstardom's close to post-mortem recognizes that the highest form of success may require him to spend nearly everything he has to sustain it. The identity meant to save him is approaching the point where it could consume him. It only grows harder, completes the Sisyphus comparison. Ascending the hierarchy has not reduced the effort required. Each higher position brings greater pressure, expectations, and more to defend. He did ultimately obtain almost exactly what these lyrics demanded. He became one of the few rappers who could credibly be called a king, but the achievement reproduced his original powerlessness in another form. He became so famous that ordinary public life became difficult. Everything he did attracted scrutiny, and his position created a continual demand to prove that he still deserved it. It seems even to this day he appears to come off as kind of resentful and needing to keep proving himself over and over. This is just my opinion, but if he instead just made his music about the art itself rather than about needing the art to prove something about himself to the world, the story might likely have it take a different turn. And that'll be clearer when we get to level five. So, anyways, the experiential endpoint of level three is extreme success. And reaching that point is the beginning point of the necessary recognition that comes or that's needed at level four, which the main point being that you can become exactly what you set out to become and still discover that the climb was organized around a hole that achievement just could not fill. As soon as I was trying to create these levels in this map, the first song that I thought of that explained that so well is Mo Money, Mo Problems. So we'll get into that one and a couple other, or one other when we get there. For now, that's the end of the level three video. The last thing I needed to say is what I decided to do was I created the first 6 levels in a full video. So, and then I uploaded individual like 10-minute clips that of like each individual level that I'm releasing over the course of weeks. So if you've watched this one and now you're interested in seeing the full 1 to 6, just go click on the channel and then you can go and find the full video there.